What's this? Tabletop Island, huh? Let's see what this is all about.
Keep your daggers close as you walk through the cemetery to strike the vampire, but tread carefully or he'll awaken with a flash and a screech, eliminating your daggers until they're no more. Be the first to stab the vampire and win. Creeps by Action GT.
Welcome to Tabletop Island. I'm Bernardo, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the vintage board game Creeps by Action GT. This game came out in 1980. You're going to notice on BoardGameGeek.com, you'll see it says 1979. In fact, that was actually the first edition. Mine is the second edition. You can tell by the box design, it has that window of the imagery on the side that isn't shown on the first edition version. They're both the exact same game. There's no actual difference outside of the box design. Now, without further ado, let's first take a look at the components. So you have this really neat kind of board. It has this graveyard theme to it. It's really cartoony with kind of these bats, this castle, the cemetery, kind of tombstones there. You got a really creepy Dracula head in the center, or kind of like a coffin. With the coffin itself on mine, it is a bit cracked. You'll see that's pretty common with the games that you'll see. That's fine. That doesn't affect gameplay. In fact, how crunched up it looks makes it look almost creepier, so it's definitely a weird one. I definitely recommend playing this kind of in a dim lit or dark area. It makes and adds to the creepiness, very much so. But outside of that, it's kind of like a big fishbowl. Then you have these daggers, these really nice, actually, golden metal daggers, or I believe they're copper. They're really sturdy, really high quality, actually. It's probably the most high quality piece here outside of the electronics that are going to be inside of this cemetery piece. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Now, the objective of the game is to take one of your 5 daggers, move it through the path of the graveyard, and reach the coffin, stabbing the vampire and eliminating him. However, you only get 6 moves a turn. And I know, that sounds like you can make it to the coffin easy as anything, but that's where you're wrong. You can move any number of daggers you want, any number of spaces, as long as it's within 6. Now, some spaces will have a buzzing, which will light up Dracula's eyes or the vampire's eyes, and make a screech sound, which is really creepy. It's actually quite startling at first. I was like, I didn't expect that. So that was something to be aware of. But yeah, if one of those buzzes, that dagger's eliminated. And if you keep moving through and eliminating your daggers, you're out of the game if you have none left. And obviously, if you start to hear the buzzing on a specific spot, that just means you're going to have to avoid that. But you're going to also have to remember where to avoid that, because you don't get to mark it on the board, especially if you have more than one. There's a lot of little pieces of memory to have done with the game, so kind of recognizing certain spots on the board and where that buzzing is located is going to be really crucial. So if memory isn't your favorite thing, this might not be the game for you. But the game is that straightforward. You're moving around and you're just trying to reach the coffin first, stabbing the vampire, eliminating him, and that is game over. Now, the components are super unique. That buzzing sounds really creepy. The light up piece is really cool. But that's really it for the game. There isn't really any strategy. There's a lot of luck. The cool aspect of the game is that you get to take one of the daggers in one of the corners of the board and kind of twist it, and you can spin the kind of hot spots onto the board, which means it can be different each time. So those kind of buzzing spots won't be in the same spot during each game. So that's super cool to have and very much appreciated for kind of an electronic, especially one this bulky. Now, with that being said, there's also another fault of the game, which is why I couldn't recommend this. This game is extremely expensive. And not only is the game expensive, it utilizes a battery that's been out of print for a while. And I say out of print, but it's not in circulation anymore. I actually had to get this imported from Germany. It's a 4.5 volt. I couldn't find it in the US. I did notice that they had some from Energizer. However, I didn't want to get any of those because I was afraid that the Energizer ones might be a little too powerful, because I'm guessing the electronics back then might not have been as strong, so using batteries that are too strong in some instances isn't really the way to go. But look at this battery. This isn't something you're going to find at your local Walmart. I'm sorry, this is not going to be worth it. In fact, this Battery might cost you almost as much as the board game. I would say probably close to about $40 to get it shipped to you in the US. If you're overseas, you might get a little lucky, you might spend $20. But that's a lot of money and a big reason why I couldn't recommend this game. Now, I will say this. The game is super cool, super rare, and if collecting horror vintage board games is your thing, or horror board games in general, this is a cool one to add to your collection due to its uniqueness and, again, its rarity. But the gameplay is not exciting, so you're not missing anything. I don't recommend this at all. If you find a good deal, definitely pick it up because it's on the pricier side. But for that high price point, this game is not worth it, not even in the slightest, especially if you're paying that much money for the battery. If you're living in the US, the struggle's real, guys. But I wanted to at least give you that disclosure because it's super important, and it's definitely something to note because you don't really find that out until you get it. In fact, if you look on eBay, a lot of people either one, it's broken, or two, they don't know if it works because they don't want to get the battery because it's a lot of money and hard to find. So with that being said, you're also taking the plunge because I don't know a single seller that is testing this. I took the plunge and I went out to find the battery, which I didn't know until I got the game, which I had to wait even longer to get to play. So I definitely took a plunge here and I'm glad it works. I'm glad to have it in my collection, but it's nothing exciting and nothing to kind of daunt over. But that's honestly all I have for you guys today. As I've mentioned before, every day for this entire month I'll be releasing a new video, whether it's a bonus review, a how-to, or maybe even just a ghost story. I'll be keeping the theme and we'll be having a whole lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Now, if you are interested in notifications, there's a bell up there somewhere. Please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate any feedback. I'm trying to make these videos more and more outrageous, and with your guys' help, I have been doing so. As for the regular schedule, we have Monday, regular board game reviews, Wednesday, weekly update / talks, and then on Fridays, my vintage board game reviews. That is all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys next time.